I believe we are live. Grand Rising, everyone. So, today I was called to do a live channeling session here with you all. But before I dive into that, I wanted to give like a mini breakdown, a mini masterclass on channeling. What is channeling? How can you develop this gift, and then also what are the benefits of channeling and how you can begin to utilize it in your everyday life. So I actually have my tea and my notes, and so I'm ready to dive right into it. And the best part about this entire transmission is that at the end of it, I will be showing you exactly how this works. I will be doing a live demonstration of how I channel on a daily basis and how I have been channeling for, I want to say, the last 4 or 5 years now. And so I guess I'll go right into the story of how I started channeling in the first place. So let me just kind of like tap into where I was back in about 2019 and 2020. At this time, I am really going through a period of self discovery, and everything in my life that could have possibly gone wrong went wrong. And so I was traveling, I was living in Tampa. This was, I want to say, right before COVID. And so I left the country, I came back, my car had been struck by lightning, and I basically was fed up. I had enough. And looking back on everything, I realized that the universe was doing everything for me rather than all of these things happening to me. By my car getting struck by lightning, I was able to release myself from all attachments and allow myself to fully travel and fully go into being a solo traveler, which is something that I've always wanted to do. And so at the time, I was essentially, I didn't have a home. I had given up my home, and I came back to Georgia to live with a friend in her house. And as I was living in her house, I just thought to myself, like, how did I end up here? I had a thriving, successful business when I was in college, making beaucoup dinero. I thought that that was going to be my destiny. I thought that that's something that was going to change my entire life. And in a way, it did, but it didn't change my life in the way that I thought it would. And ultimately, I was just really down. I was really depressed. And all of a sudden, one day, I'm in my room at my friend's house, and I just open up my laptop, and something started coming into my vortex. But at the time, I had no idea what this feeling was. I just felt this insane urge to start writing. And as I get further into this transmission, I will go into the different ways of channeling. But for me, writing has always been a gift of mine. And to pair it with my ability to channel has just extremely changed my life. But at this moment, back in 2020, I am channeling, and I am at my desk and I'm writing about, 100 words per minute. And I have no idea what I'm saying. I have no idea what I'm writing. I'm just writing. And so, what happened at this moment, what I ended up realizing was that I had just received a download, and I was hearing everything and then writing everything that I was hearing. So, clairaudience is a gift that I was blessed with. And so, with my clairaudience, I'm able to write and channel and journal about whatever transmission I am receiving. So, with that being said, I read this transmission for the first time back in 2020, and I was amazed. In this transmission, essentially, what my guides at the time, I didn't know who I was speaking with or what this download was or where it was coming from, but at that time, my guides were giving me step by step instructions on how to change my life, how to turn my life around. And it started with going out into the world. And so when my car got struck by lightning, I had gone to Mexico. I went to California, but then I found myself back in Atlanta, and this is where the transmission took place because I was doubting myself. I was doubting the fact that I was even like, how could I do something so grand like this? How could I essentially break out of my limiting beliefs and do something so big, like solo traveling the world, and just going out on my own and trusting that the universe has my back. So during this transmission, they confirmed for me, like, you need to go back to traveling, you need to go back out there into the world, everything will work itself out. And I'm probably skipping around here because trying to remember it all like my brain doesn't have the space to do that. But that was the confirmation I needed, and I received a lot of great practical things, because the way channeling works is that your guides, your spirit team, they will transmit the message to you in the way that you can best understand it given your human psyche, right? So for me, I am a very step by step oriented person, and I needed this step by step guidance. And for them to break it down in lamest terms, this is exactly the actions that you're going to take. And I did exactly that. And within a year, I had traveled to a few different countries. I had purchased my first home. I completely turned my life around financially. I was able to obtain a new car. I just saw so quickly how my life began to change through this gift that I received of channeling. And so that's just one minor example of how channeling can also change your life. It provides you with guidance, it provides you with direct contact to your spirit team or whoever you identify with, whether that be God, Allah, whatever you believe in. For me, it's source energy, it's my higher self, it's my guides, my ancestors that I can tap into. And the beautiful, beautiful thing about channeling is that you can choose, once you develop and hone the skill, you can choose who it is that you want to connect with. So let's say, I've had a few instances where I've had situations come up, and or I was working on a project and I was like, who can I channel with? Who can I tap into? What energy can I tap into in order to complete this project? And I'm able to connect with the energy of some amazing poets, writers, and very influential people that we know of. And I don't want to get too much into the science behind this, but I do want to add a disclaimer as well. Once you begin to develop this gift, you want to use it with intention. You want to use it with caution. You want to use it with protection. So I've been doing this for quite a few years now. Even before 2020, I was doing a form of channeling. I just didn't know what it was called. But you will over time develop these understandings of what you can and cannot do when it comes to your gifts. So that's my disclaimer. Just use your intentions, use your discernment, and use caution when tapping into channeling. But going back to what I was saying, you can use the wisdom of those from the past to help guide you on your journey today, whether that's tapping into your higher self, whether that's tapping into archetypes that have existed before us. One of my favorites is Hermes Trismegistus or Thoth, depending on which time period you want to go off of. They're all the same person, but I resonate so much with this archetype because of the wisdom that this person was able to gain over many, many lifetimes. This is someone who has lived over 700 plus years through different vessels, mind you, which is why we know this soul by multiple by different people, but they're all the same. The father of medicine, the father of science, of astrology, geometry, physics, all of those practices were developed through this person living through multiple lifetimes and being able to recall all of this. So when I channel sometimes, and I want to tap into divine wisdom, that is who I call upon. So I've talked about what channeling is, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. I will be responding to those should there be any questions. All right. How do I? All right, cool. So yeah, I'll be responding to those should there be any questions. Sorry guys, I'm just tapping in. All right, cool. So I've talked about what channeling is. It's being able to have that direct contact with your higher self, your guides, etc., and your team. One other thing that I will say as you explore this journey of higher consciousness is that you are also able to channel different galactic corporations, organizations. I guess those aren't the right words, but basically you can tap into other ETs and extraterrestrial beings. I think we have quite a bit of a negative connotation on these ET beings because of the way that the media portrays them. But through my many, many years of channeling, I've been able to connect to some of these councils, if you will, and have a really good understanding that they are just here for our highest good. And a lot of the tools and the phenomenon that we experience are because of our connection to these other galaxies. So if you've ever experienced any sort of like psychic phenomenon, or if you saw something out of the corner of your eye, or if you saw something in the sky, this is their way of gently communicating with us. For some people, they need that ease; they need to ease into it, and for others, they have the ability to completely open themselves up to these beings. That's a video for another day. So I'll move on to my next point is how to develop the gift of channeling. For me, it started with many years of meditation. And I didn't write this down, but now that I'm remembering my journey, you have to address and work on your trauma and your blockages. You Once you begin to do the work, it starts to open up these channels so that you can begin to receive messages that aren't filtered or aren't altered. And so by you meditating, working on your traumas, whether it be through therapy, through past life regression therapy, through hypnotherapy, whatever means or method that you have developed to help you on your journey to removing those traumas, the blockages, the programming, the negative belief, that is the only way that you will be able to connect to your higher self and to your guides. So that's those are two things: meditation, removing the blockages of trauma and negative beliefs, and then journaling. So I mentioned that my particular method is clairaudience, and then I transmit via my writing, whether that be on my computer or whether it be in my journal. Because the reason why I choose my computer is because I type a lot faster than I write, and sometimes the messages, especially now, are coming in so quickly that even typing is becoming a little slow for me to be able to understand the transmissions and to capture everything that I'm hearing. But journaling, regardless of your method or your gift, whether you're claircognizant, whether you're clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, whatever you are, journaling is a great way to start tapping into this ability to channel. Because over time, you will realize that, okay, maybe the writing isn't going to be my thing, but at least I am beginning to open up those channels and turn those wheels. Think of it as you are literally just creating a snowball effect. So, in order to get the snowball going, you want to start with journaling, start expressing your emotions, start letting things out, start releasing. You'll start to see a common theme in terms of how to develop your gift of releasing so that you can make space for the new information, the new downloads to come in. I'm going to take a tea break for a second. So this is my matcha, and I use ceremonial grade matcha, and I put some cinnamon in there because not only do I like the taste, but also it adds an element, an herbal element to the green tea matcha as well, an additional herb. So, yeah. And I make mine with coconut milk, which tastes so good. Okay. And then the last note that I have here on how to develop your gift of channeling is to be intentional. You want to be extremely intentional about why it is that you're channeling. The same rules apply here as they do for things such as magic, and things such as manifestation. You do not want to impose on anyone else's free will, and you also do not want to harm others. And you want to make sure that you're doing this for your highest good, your highest purpose, and for nothing other than that. So, when I open up my channeling sessions, I always like to give thanks and gratitude to my guides or whoever is bringing the message forth to me. And then I also share my intentions. I also say, this is a part of being able to use caution. I also reiterate that I am channeling for my highest good, highest purpose, highest timeline, for myself and for humanity. So this practice, this gift, like any other, can be used for the wrong reasons. And so, if you are on this journey and you're considering tapping into this gift, be sure to be intentional about it and be sure to use it for the right reasons. Otherwise, the law of reciprocity, law of karma, everything you put out will indeed come back to you. So, just remember that. Now I want to get into what can channeling be used for. So channeling can be used for divine guidance. This was originally the first thing that I was using channeling for unintentionally, not unintentionally, but unaware of the fact that I was being divinely guided through channeling. So that's one thing that it can be used for. When you tap into your guides, when you tap into your ancestors, you can definitely ask for divine guidance. What does this look like? This looks like, you have a problem going on in your reality, and you're just unsure of where to get the answers. This saying that all of the answers are within you is absolutely true. There are all of the answers that you could possibly seek, they're all within you. And this is what they mean, being able to tap into that. You can do this through other means and other gifts as well, but with channeling, you are having a conversation with your higher self, your higher beings, your guides, and they are helping you see what you possibly couldn't see with your own eyes, or with your own heart. So they're going to provide you with divine guidance, and they're going to show you the answers that you may not been able to see without. They're going to show you those within. Developing your intuition. So, as I mentioned, I've been doing this for a couple years, and my intuition has been amazing. There's still a lot of room for improvement and growth. However, I feel as though I've been able to recognize my intuition more often. I've been able to trust my intuition more because of my channeling. I know when I'm receiving divine guidance, even when I'm not in a channeling state, or when I'm not sitting at my computer, when I'm not sitting at my journal. I know that I am constantly receiving messages, from my higher self, from myself. This is what intuition is, being able to listen and feel and hear the messages coming throughout my entire life. So no matter where I am, even if I'm not tapped into my setting of channeling, I'm always channeling. And this is what my intuition is. So when I'm out and about in the world and I have to make a decision, I'm able to tap in to my intuition much more readily than I was previously. Previously, I would say I had no idea what my intuition was. To the point where it would cause sicknesses. I would get sick, physically ill, because I was ignoring or not acknowledging my intuition. Okay, so that is developing your intuition. The next one I have is opening up to your gifts. So through channeling, I was able to realize a lot of other gifts that I received, that I have spiritual gifts. And I won't get too much into all of them, but definitely as you start this journey of channeling, meditation, and journaling, and just developing your own spiritual practice, you'll start to see your gifts make themselves apparent to you. We all of us, every single person, every single being on this planet has the ability to tap into these gifts. For some of us, some gifts might be more prominent than others, and that's okay. But the ability to start channeling and recognizing what those gifts are is so beautiful because then you can start taking the necessary steps to develop and hone those skills. So, like for me, for example, when I received that initial download that was very intense, I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? And so I started to make it a daily practice of channeling, and now I've developed my gift to where it is today. Access to the Akashic records. This is probably something you've heard about. You probably haven't done much work with it yet. And if you have, kudos to you because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Channeling allows you to tap into the Akashic records, bring out information that is necessary for us to our highest evolution, our highest timeline, and then utilize that information and share it with others. The Akashic records, I will probably do a whole other video on this, but I want you to do your research and understand what this is. This is, think of a cloud above our heads, just following us. Every single being, every conscious being on this planet has a cloud above them, right? The Akashic records is all thoughts, all things, all inventions, all creations, all everything that has ever been created, everything that's ever been brought down from the 4D into the 3D, even from the 5D all the way down into the 3D and the 2D, etc. Every thought, every creation, every invention that we've ever had is stored in this Akashic record, regardless of time. So if you want to tap in and you want to go into the future in 2050, you can. And all of this can be done by developing your skills. So, you know, your first entry into the Akashic records may not be as profound as I'm describing it. However, the Akashic records are so beautiful because it not only has all of that information, it also has all of the information about your lifetime, about this lifetime, about previous lifetimes. The Akashic records has every bit of information you can possibly think of. And we live in an informational planet, an informational realm. Everything here runs off information. And so you through channeling, you can develop your skills to tap into these Akashic records and pull out information that will help you on your journey where you are today. Or if you're someone who wants to know, you know, what does this life hold for me? What is my purpose? And it's not going to all be revealed to you at once, especially if you're on the journey of discovery, because that's the beautiful part about all of this is the journey to discovery and then discovering and then living out that discovery. You'll start to get tidbits. You'll start to get little notes of where you should go next. And here's a clue basically for your next journey. And the intention alone of wanting to tap into something like the Akashic records is everything because our thoughts go out there and then we start to receive back answers. So for example, if I had a thought and I was channeling and I was in the Akashic records and I received something and they were like, okay, we're not going to give you all the answers, but here's a clue. And then that makes an impression on my subconscious and my conscious. And what the universe will return to me is bits and pieces of the whole picture. So I'll start to see on my YouTube feed videos of this topic, and then I'll kind of go with that. Or I'll have a conversation with someone and they'll bring something up and it'll pique my interest. This is also how channeling works as well. If you don't receive all of the answers, you'll still be able to see how your guides are pushing you in the right direction on the path of discovery, on the path of finding the clues along the way. Think of it as a beautiful treasure hunt, right? So channeling opens you up to be able to see and recognize those synchronicities and those moments of clarity when you are meant to attach to that idea, attach to that thought, and then go forward with it. It's beautiful. So one of the benefits of channeling, one of the benefits of channeling is actually you'll start to see a lot more synchronicity. You'll start to see that you can begin scripting your life. That's one of the beautiful things as well. You can start to open yourself up to the possibilities and the opportunities that are for your highest good. So the last thing I have for what it can be used for, and this is going to develop over time as well, is being able to use channeling to help you with any sort of ailments, any sort of depression, any sort of uncertainty in life. You can channel your guides, your higher self, to help you better understand why you are going through this period, why you are subject to this point in time, because everything is happening for you. So you want to better understand what the situation, what this experience is teaching you. Everything is a lesson, everything is for your growth. And so through channeling, you can take the position of, hello, I want to understand better why I'm going through this experience. And 9 times out of 10, you'll get a response that will give you some sort of like aha moment, like, aha, that makes sense. I'm being shown this experience so that I can reflect internally on the parts of me that are being expressed externally. For example, you're going through a situation with a family member and you just can't understand why they don't get it or why they're acting this way. And then you start channeling and you ask these questions of, what can I do with this person in my life? What is wrong? Like what's happening? And then your guides come back to you and they say, essentially, we want you to go within and identify parts and areas of yourself that are being portrayed through this person. And then we want you to change your perspective that you have of this person and begin to watch as your outer world, your outer reality just aligns with your new perception. So through this, you're able to do some shadow work. You're also able to identify and recognize when your perception of something is off, because everything is perception. When you change your perception through awareness, you're able to see the changes reflected in your reality and your real life. So next I have for me to do a live demonstration on how channeling works. I've never actually done this live, so definitely bear with me as I get into the state that I like to be in when I channel. And let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen. And show you exactly what it looks like for me to start channeling. So I mentioned I typically like to write this down or type it out. And so typing just helps me get more of the message through much quicker. My hand usually starts getting tired when I write, but definitely do what feels the best for you. Some people, they like to externalize their channelings, meaning you can get into your state of channeling, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's outside in nature, whether it's in your bedroom, in the car, wherever you want to be, whether it's with music playing, just get into that state and then transmit the message. And if you want to capture it via audio recording or via writing or via painting, whatever that looks like for you, this is a part of discovery. So figure out what that looks like. And I am going to live channel a message for the collective today. So that is my intention. And I will ask my guides to follow me through this transmission and to guide me through this transmission. And I would like to call upon my counsel to do this. And so let us begin. Okay. Wow. So I have just completed my channeling session, my transmission. Physically, what do I feel when I'm transmitting? I feel like I'm in flow. I feel like when you hear someone playing the piano and they just cannot stop. I feel like I'm orchestrating a symphony, especially when I'm tapping into different entities or different beings. So, like if I'm speaking with my counsel, and then all of a sudden I shift over to my higher self, and then all of a sudden I shift over to archangels. It feels like I'm conducting a symphony to bring forth the message that I need for me. Again, I've never channeled for anyone else other than myself, so this was a treat for myself as well. And I'm learning that a lot of the messages that I receive for myself are messages for the collective because we are all one. And so everything that has been so reassuring for me and helpful on my journey will hopefully help you on yours as well. So today is Sunday, August 17th, 2025, and the message for you, I will read it. But if you've made it this far into the video and you're curious to learn more before I read this message, definitely comment down below any questions that you have. If you are looking to hone in on your own channeling gifts and your own channeling abilities, be sure to connect with me. I'd love to help out whoever I can because it's so beautiful. Anyone can do it. It's just all about being able to really tap into that. Okay. So, the message that the council has for you all today: Darling, we are so pleased to connect with you. You're exactly where you need to be. We love that you're sharing this with the collective as everyone is starting to wake up. They are capturing the knowledge and tools necessary for their own ascension. This will lead to a higher awakening of the human consciousness. We are on the right path, in the right direction. We are exactly where we need to be. We are pleased that you are here today. One message we have for the collective: be who you were meant to be. It is now time for everyone to tap into their true essence, their heart center, their heart chakra. This can be done by first balancing the first three chakras. From there, they can access the heart center. This can be done in a rapid way, but in a safe way. You must open yourself up to modalities and tools that are present at all and all around you. Do the work, the inner work. It is not scary, it is liberating. Now is the time. Do not wait until it's too late. Once you begin to do the work on balancing the chakras, the heart is the gateway to the higher chakras. The higher self is always here, waiting to guide you. Open yourself up to this guidance, knowledge, and wisdom, and watch as your entire reality begins to shift. How does one do this? First, begin with self reflection, understanding your interests, what you like and what you do not like about your current reality. This is the first step. It'll bring to your awareness what you need to work on and what you need to leave behind and what you need to replace. Understand that this is keeping you in a lower vibrational state. Understand that this is what keeps you stuck. It's time to let go of the people, places, things, ideas, habits that do not serve you. Are you happy with where you live? Are you happy with where you work? Are you doing and living the life you envision for yourself? What is your soul calling for right now? It's time to listen. As living your highest timeline and life is your way to ascension, higher self, higher being. We do not want to overwhelm those who are experiencing their first channeled message, so we will leave this here for now. We are the council, and we have had a pleasure connecting with you. If you need more guidance, begin to go within. You're exactly where you need to be. Welcome. Much love and abundance to you and yours. Love. And with that, I will end this transmission. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be sharing more here on my channel. So if you like this sort of content, if you like this sort of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, please be sure to like and subscribe for more. And I hope to see you on this journey. Thank you.